One team, one team that made a real offer for Kyle Tucker, let's say that facetiously, the Phillies were trying to base a Kyle Tucker trade around Castellanos and Bohm. And half of me laughs at that and goes, what are you doing? Half of me goes, in a way it makes sense. Because while the Phillies are seriously overvaluing what Alec Bohm is, it's a third baseman who doesn't hit for a lot of power, who's a good hitter, a decent, like a much improved and decent fielder at third base with this year and next year. He's a 2-year rental, if you will. Castellanos and Bohm both profile tremendously at Minute Maid Park with the Crawford box. It's like the Astros could turn Bohm into a real deal third baseman. So from that perspective, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that was their offer, was Bohm and Castellanos for Tucker. The money side of it, like it's not that much of an influx in money payment because Tucker's making 15, 16 mil this year. It's just like Castellanos is getting older. You would have needed to include a prospect in that package, and they didn't want it. They went out, they got corner infielder in Paredes as a third baseman, or just as a corner infielder in general, profiles better than Bohm does, and a couple of prospects, and that's the deal that they took, right? The Phillies have to do something. They can't run it back again. They did that last year, and it didn't work. They need a change in something, shake up something, and I appreciate that what they're trying to do. They think that Bohm is kind of the outlier that's expendable, and they don't love some of his attributes or some of his attitudes or whatever, right? They think he's way more valuable than at all possible. I don't know. They tried to get Logan Gilbert for him 1-for-1. They tried to get Mason Miller for him 1-for-1. Like, they're hugging the prospects, and I can appreciate that in a way because you've got 3 who are real deal, can be impact players. Painter will this year, Crawford might this year, and Miller maybe September call-ups give something for him. He's still really young too, though. At some point, you've got to probably pick one of the 3, and probably Crawford's the most expendable, and you've got to go and do something. Like, you've got a core of players who are in their prime but approaching the end of their prime, and your young talent kind of fell off a cliff, like Bryson Stott. What's he going to be? Like, maybe he bounces back. Brandon Marsh had a nice year. Like, he's just kind of a average major league hitter who strikes out a ton and plays good defense in left field. And Johan Rojas is nothing at the plate, right? Like, that's the young talent on this Phillies team. Alec Bohm's not young. Alec Bohm's almost 30 years old. That's the other part of this. Alec Bohm's not young. That's what's overvaluing about the Phillies. We've seen him for 5 years now, but he's almost 30. He came up late. He was drafted out of college pretty late. So they're overvaluing him a ton. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Trading him makes sense if they're going to bring in someone else, which, if I had to be honest, they're probably going to find a partner, but they're not going to get nearly what they want for him. I don't think starting pitching is what they should go after. I think they need to try to bring in some kind of outfielder or just another third baseman to change some. I kind of like the idea of a Bohm for Maikel Garcia and a prospect from the Royals. Like, that's kind of feels like a nice move. Both sides, that works out for them. We'll see. 2 guys who probably just need a change of scenery, right? And Bohm is probably more valuable than Maikel Garcia just because of track record. I don't know what the Phillies are doing. It doesn't look like they're going to sign anybody impactful like that. They've been rumored to people. They weren't able to jump on the Kyle Tucker thing. They didn't jump on the Devin Williams thing. Garrett Crochet is gone. These guys who they were looking at acquiring are just kind of falling from them piece by piece, and it's not working for the Phillies. So let's hope they can, for my sake, let's hope they can make a move